Have you ever said, I want to spend time with God, I'm just too busy right now? You're not alone. Between work, kids, texts, emails, and endless scrolling, it feels impossible to slow down. Over the last 25 years of ministry, and even through seminary, I've wrestled with this myself. I've learned that being busy for God isn't the same as being close to God. But here's the truth. You don't need hours to walk closely with God. You just need a rhythm, a small daily habit that recenters your heart. Because what you give 10 minutes to shapes the rest of your day. Today, I want to expose 5 lies that keeps us too busy for God and show you one small habit that can transform your walk with Him. But before we jump in, I've created a 7-day free 10 minutes with God challenge guide. It helps you start small and stay consistent and actually make space for God this week. You can grab it through the link in the description and follow along as we go. Lie number 1, I'll spend time with God when my life slows down. This one sounds harmless and even responsible. Once I finish this project, once the kids are older, once things calm down. But here's the problem. Life never slows down, it just fills up. There's always one more thing. That busyness, it doesn't end, it just adapts. And if we wait for perfect conditions, we'll never meet with the perfect God. Jesus didn't wait for life to slow down. In fact, in Luke it says Jesus often went out to quiet places to be alone with God, even when the crowds were pressing against him. When Jesus went to be by himself and the crowds were pressing in, his demands were truly at their highest. He didn't wait for less noise. He made space for that noise. Let me say this gently. You'll never find time for God. You have to make it. Because the enemy of intimacy isn't disbelief, it's distraction. So what if you stopped waiting for someday and invited God into today's chaos? If any one of these lies hits home, drop a comment below to tell me which of these you have believed. Lie number 2, if I can't give God a whole hour, it's just not worth doing it. That lie sounds super spiritual, right? But it's rooted in guilt, not in grace. We think God measures devotion by minutes. If I can't give him a whole hour, well, I might as well not even try. But here's the thing, God delights in your small beginnings. Zechariah 4:10 says, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Your 5 minutes, they matter. Your whispered prayer on the drive to work, it matters. Your short pause before bed matters. Because God isn't watching a stopwatch, He's listening to your heart. I used to think that I needed deep study sessions and quiet retreats, and those are beautiful. But I've learned it's not just the length of time that changes you, it's the consistency of that time. Every relationship thrives on consistent connection, not occasional intensity. So give Him 10 minutes every day, and over that time, that rhythm reshapes your heart. And when we finally make time for God, another lie creeps in. Lie number 3, my time with God has to be perfect. We have the tendency to picture the ideal quiet time. It's candlelit, journals open, worship music softly playing in the background. Then reality hits. The kids are yelling, your phone buzzes, your coffee spills, so we quit, thinking, I'll do it right tomorrow. But that perfection, that kills consistency. God doesn't want a flawless routine. He wants a faithful heart. Remember Martha and Mary? Martha was busy doing good things. She was serving Jesus. But Mary simply sat at his feet. And Jesus says, Mary has chosen what is better. Better doesn't mean perfect. It means present. You don't need the right setting, just a willing spirit. So if your time with God looks messy or interrupted, well, good. He meets you right there. Because grace grows best in real life, not in these picture-perfect moments. God would rather meet you in a messy moment than miss you in a perfect one. Lie number 4. God already knows everything, so why do I even need to have a quiet time? This one, it hides beneath the surface, especially for seasoned believers. We know God is omniscient. He sees and He knows everything, so we think He already knows my thoughts. What's the point of talking? But relationship, it isn't about transferring information. It's about building intimacy. My wife doesn't need to know every thought to know me. But when I share my heart, it draws us closer. Psalm 62:8 says, "Pour out your heart before Him." God is a refuge for us. God doesn't need your words, but He wants your heart. And every time you turn to Him, you remind your soul where home is. Challenging you right now, stick around to the end. I'm going to give you a bonus lie. And that one stings a bit, but I think it's worth it. Lie number 5. I'm doing ministry, so I don't need to have a quiet time. Oof. How often do we confuse serving God with being with Him? And that's one of the easiest lies for believers, especially leaders, to fall into. You might be leading a small group or volunteering, mentoring, praying for others. And you are doing good things, but even good things can crowd out the best thing: intimacy with Jesus. That's what happened to the church in Ephesus. Revelation 2, verses 2 through 4 says, "I know your deeds, your hard work, and your perseverance. Yet I hold this against you. You have forsaken your first love." And they were busy. They're busy for Him, but they were not with Him. This hits me because I've lived it. I've had seasons filled with ministry, preaching, planning, serving, yet felt spiritually dry because activity has replaced intimacy. God has never asked us to impress Him with our effort. He invites us to abide in Him. In John 15, Jesus says, "Apart from me, you can do nothing." When you find yourself constantly doing things for God, but rarely sitting with God, it's time to pause. Service, it flows out of the abundance of God in our life. Service flows from our stillness. Ministry should overflow from relationships, not replace it, because He wants our heart before He wants our hands. Lie number 6. I can catch up on Sunday mornings. This one is subtle, but it's deeply ingrained in our modern church life. You see, we treat Sunday like it's a spiritual refill station, one big meal to get us through the week. But that's not how faith works. Imagine eating one meal every Sunday and expecting it to carry you through all week. By Wednesday, you'd be starving. And the same is true for your soul. Jesus taught us to pray, "Give us this day our daily bread." Daily, not weekly. You can't binge on God once a week and expect deep intimacy, because relationship with God, like any relationship, is built on regular connection, not occasional attention. Acts 2 says that the early church devoted themselves daily to teaching, fellowship, and prayer. Their faith wasn't confined to a calendar, it was a way of life. And so here's a reminder: church is a celebration, but your daily time with God is a preparation. You can't catch up spiritually, you can only keep close daily. So how do we handle these lies? By forming a simple, grace-filled habit. The 10-minute daily habit. 10 minutes. You can do this. Number 1, pause for a minute and take a deep breath. Invite God in. Center your heart on Him and not on all the distractions of the day. Number 2, give 4 minutes to reading. Just one short passage, one chapter. Let that sink in. Number 3, reflect. Ask God, what does this show me about you? And what does it ask of me? And then number 4, pray. Spend time thanking God and asking for strength and lifting up your cares and your burdens. And that's it. Start with 10 minutes. You could do it at your desk, in your car, before bed, wherever your life's happening. And if you miss a day, don't quit. Just start again tomorrow. Habits grow by grace, not by guilt. God doesn't bless perfection. He blesses pursuit. I've walked through seasons where I felt distant from God, not because He moved, but because I drifted. And every time it started with neglecting the small things. But when I began this simple 10-minute rhythm, everything changed. My day didn't get easier, but my heart, it grew steadier. Peace began to replace hurry. So here's my challenge. For the next 7 days, take 10 minutes with God. No pressure, no perfection, just presence. Start today and see how God meets you there. Because if you are too busy for God, you're just too busy. When you make space for Him, He'll fill it with peace. And if this encouraged you, grab the 7-day, 10 minutes with God challenge at the link below and subscribe for more. Come back next week and share what God did in your heart.